Hi, I'm Liz from Caravan Guard Insurance. In this video we're going to talk about the leisure battery found inside caravans. I'm here at Road Pro to speak to resident battery expert Andy Harris. A leisure battery provides power to the 12 volt appliances in your caravan. Let's ask Andy a bit more about the leisure battery.
In a caravan, the leisure battery powers the 12 volt equipment in the caravan. So lights, pumps, the 12 volt sockets, and the electrics in both the fridge and the heater. One thing it won't do is provide power to the 13 amp 240 volt sockets that you have in the caravan. If you do want your main sockets to be live when you're off grid, then you have to get a thing called an inverter, which converts 12 volts from the leisure battery to mains 240 volts, and then you can run all your appliances, your 240 volt appliances, from those sockets even when you're in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere. There are a number of different types of leisure battery. Lead acid batteries can be divided into three types. There's wet lead acid, where you have to top them up on a regular basis to make sure that the fluid levels don't drop too low. There's AGM batteries. AGM is absorbed glass mat, and these don't need any maintenance at all. And gel batteries, which used to be quite common, but have in general been replaced now by AGM. In addition to those lead acid batteries, you've got lithium batteries, which is the new thing. Lithium batteries make a fantastic difference to you if you're going to be off grid. Those are the different types of leisure battery, but leisure batteries differ in so many ways. I suppose the most basic way is the amp hour capacity. That's the amount of energy that's stored in the battery that you can take out of it. So the most common leisure batteries, I suppose, are 95 amp hour, 100 amp hour, 110 amp hour. But you can get 150 amp hour, 200, you can go up and up and up and add batteries to each other in parallel to increase the capacity of battery power that you have. Well, if you think about it, most caravans spend an awful lot of time not actually being used, but the battery might still be working, running the tracker and an alarm. And of course, when you're in storage, you might need to adjust it with your motor mover, maybe two motor movers. And here's a top tip. If you have got a motor mover, your leisure battery should have a capacity of at least 100 amp hours. It might be a good idea to think about getting a solar panel if you haven't already got one, because when the caravan's in storage, as long as it's not inside, then a solar panel will provide at least a trickle of energy going into the leisure battery and keep it topped up. And then of course, when the time comes to take the caravan out of storage, are you going to go to a campsite with EHU, mains hookup, or are you going to be adventurous and go off grid? The answer determines what sort of battery you're going to need. And one last thing, if you think about changing your batteries, adding bigger batteries, make sure that the batteries that you plan to get will actually fit in your caravan, in the locker, under the floor, or wherever they live now. Well, there are three ways. First of all, as long as the sun's out and you've got a solar panel on the roof, then that's going to put a charge into your battery. If you're on a campsite with mains hookup, then that's going to charge the leisure battery too. But the third way of charging the leisure battery is when you're out on the road, towing your caravan. If you're in any doubt that a charge isn't getting to the battery when you're driving, then you need to get some things checked. First of all, the tow bar. Make sure that it's been wired up in such a way that there is current and voltage going to the leisure battery. And secondly, modern cars have a thing called a smart alternator. And if you have one of these, that can greatly affect the way that the charging system works. So get that checked as well. So I previously mentioned that there are 3 ways of charging your leisure battery, but of course there's also a 4th with a mains charger, preferably an intelligent charger. What's an intelligent charger? Well, it's one that thinks about what it's doing. It knows what kind of battery you have, and it knows what state of charge the battery's in. It knows exactly how to charge the battery for maximum efficiency and safety. If you park your caravan up in the winter time, then you might want to consider taking the battery out of the caravan, taking it home, keeping it warm, giving it some love. That way it'll last a lot longer and be a lot happier and make you happy at the same time. But of course, if you do take your leisure battery home to keep it nice and warm and comfortable over the winter, remember your security devices will not be working, and that may invalidate your insurance policy, which you don't want. So you might need to consider getting a second battery, putting it in the caravan and using it specifically for powering the tracker and the alarm. If you've got an app on your phone that shows you how your alarm system and tracker are working, that might show you how the battery is performing, the voltage at the very least. Keep an eye on that. But otherwise, you're just going to have to go and check the battery every so often and make sure that everything is working as it should. If you go back to your leisure vehicle and find that the leisure battery is dead, what do you do? Well, the first thing to do is to try and revive it. You probably won't be able to do that by just plugging it into the onboard charger. I strongly recommend that you invest in an intelligent charger, which will actually take a good look at the battery, find out the best way of bringing it back to life. If you try and charge the battery up and it still doesn't recover fully, then you've got no alternative but to buy a new battery. And when you do buy a new battery, make sure you get one that's appropriate, a good size, the right size for your vehicle, and one that does what you are going to want it to do. Well, it all depends. It depends on how you use it and how you treat it, and what kind of battery it is to start off with. So here are my top 10 tips for using leisure batteries in a leisure vehicle. Make sure that your battery has been installed correctly, and that includes using the correct wiring. Very important indeed. Number 2, make sure that your batteries are upright. Make sure that they're firmly secured with the original fixing so they can't move about, which doesn't do lead acid batteries any good at all. And finally, make sure that your batteries are vented to the outside so that any gas building up inside the battery can go down the little tube and out into the fresh air and not build up inside your caravan, motorhome or camper van. Number 3, keep an eye on the electrical status of your battery. You don't want to let it go down too low, because if you do, you'll need to get a new battery. So keep a close eye on the display panel in your vehicle, which will show you the voltage, either with a row of LEDs or preferably actual serious, realistic, true figures. Number 4, keep an eye on the physical condition of the battery. If it's a wet lead acid battery, check the levels. If it needs topping up, do that with, of course, distilled water. Look at the base of the battery in the battery tray. Make sure there's no liquid down there. That's a bad sign. And while you're down there, look at the whole case of the battery and make sure there are no cracks, splits or bulges anywhere. If you see any, get a new battery. And finally, check the terminals. Use Vaseline to make sure they don't sulfate. If they're sulfated, they'll go green and gungy and white and horrible, and that reduces the efficiency of the battery. So clean those terminals and put a little bit of Vaseline on them to keep them nice and efficient. Number 5, If you can, always use an intelligent battery charger to keep your leisure battery charged. It makes a huge difference and will extend the life of your battery and the way it works. It's well worth the initial investment. Number 6, I do strongly recommend that you don't leave your motorhome, camper van or caravan connected to the mains so that the battery is charged up using the built-in charger, because often these chargers are not really chargers at all. They're simply power supplies and they're not doing your leisure batteries any favours. Always, if you can, as I've said before, use an intelligent battery charger. Number 7, when buying a new leisure battery, absolutely make certain that the new battery is going to fit in the available space that you've got in the vehicle. Also, make sure that the battery you buy is going to be able to do what you want it to do, that it's got sufficient amp hour capacity and sufficient oomph to power the devices that you want to use in your motorhome, camper van or caravan. Number 8, if you're using a solar panel or solar panels to charge your leisure battery, make sure that the panels are clean. Get up on a roof and give them a good scrub, particularly if it's been raining, because little bits of dirt come down in the rain and that can seriously affect the performance of the panel and the amount of electricity it generates and puts into your battery. Number 9, keep your nostrils open and sniff your battery every now and again. That might sound mad, but if a battery is seriously damaged, seriously degraded, it may well start smelling, giving off a kind of an eggy smell. If you smell eggs in your motorhome, caravan or camper van, then get rid of that battery straight away. But be careful when you do it because it's giving off gas that can be dangerous. Number 10, make sure that you take your vehicle in regularly for an annual service. Not only will they check the brakes, the mechanicals, the gas, the electrics, but they will also check the battery and make sure that it's safe and capable of giving you all the power you need when you need it.
So thanks Andy, there's some great tips there for choosing, understanding and looking after your caravan's leisure battery. Remember to take regular care of your leisure battery, particularly if it's being used to power an alarm or tracking device. For more caravanning hints and tips, why not head on over to the Caravan Guard website. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and share. Thanks for watching.